Hi Aries, welcome to your reading. This is basically a pick a card for what your Akashic records want to tell you, Aries, about 2021. So I'm going to go straight into a tiny bit of astrology first of all. And because there's just a few things, obviously there's key bits, right? One key really bit I do feel for a lot of you, and also the astrology will probably make most sense predictive wise for Aries ascendant, Aries rising. It might make sense for Aries moon on an emotional level, what I talk about with the astrology, and it might make sense for Aries sun in terms of like what's driving you, let's say, but not just like on an emotional level, but more like on a psychological and a kind of an energetic type of level. But anyway, you'll feel into what is right for you. So one thing to really pay attention to is Chiron is in your first house, and it's been in your first house for a little while, but it's going to go deeper into that first house in 2021. So you know what, Aries, this really is going to be this kind of unveiling of a part of yourself that you didn't know existed. And I do feel like a lot of this unveiling to a new part of yourself will really be because you are doing the two things. One, you'll be healing things, healing parts of yourself that you didn't think were acceptable. You're going to start making them acceptable. So you're basically going to start to own more of yourself. And then the other part is you're going to be unveiling a new part of who you are, not just because you're healing yourself and making yourself more integrated and making yourself more whole, but you're also just going to be, I feel, going to get lots of different messages from inspiration from higher sources. So that might even be through dreams, it might just be with your unconscious, but either way, I just feel like you personally are going to start to get more kind of messages, understandings, or awarenesses from a higher way of looking at things, like a more advanced way of looking at things, and that's really going to then start also changing who you are and how you reveal yourself to the world, is kind of what I'm getting. So it's really powerful, and I do feel like it's a two-part process. Definitely bearing in mind, Chiron is often known as the wounded healer, so you might also find that certain people or situations occur in 2021 that basically allow you to heal yourself through helping another person, or helping somebody in a certain situation actually allows you to heal a part of yourself that until this point you couldn't seem to heal or resolve. So also watch out for that, and that can be really, really powerful. Just one thing to be mindful of, like the booby trap with Chiron, is don't get into the feeling that, never allow yourself, if you can, in 2021 to think that things just won't change. Don't allow yourself to have repetitive thoughts of reinforcing old belief systems which you know don't help you, because that's also just something that I think can happen with Chiron. But on the whole, I do really feel this is going to be positive for you. Obviously the first 6 months, or the last 6 months of 2020 were really full on, because Aries, your main planet Mars was retrograde, but also it was taking insanely long to just move through one sign, which is your own sign of Aries, which never usually happens. So you've almost had 6 months in the last end of 2020 of, I would say, I really just feel like a lot of things working, like coming into your mind on almost you'll have had lots of different psychological breakthroughs about yourself because of how you've been interacting with people on a one-on-one level. So that could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be a therapist, it could be a business partner, it could be a flatmate, it could be a husband, a wife, like it could be a child. It doesn't matter who it is, and it's probably more than one person, but you'd have had a lot of different psychological breakthroughs in the end of 2020 because of your one-on-one connections, basically. And just know as well, Mars is really powerful throughout the whole of 2021, so things aren't going to start slowing down for you in terms of energy being given to you. Like your think of like your life force energy. You should have a lot of life force energy in 2021, but then obviously it's about how you channel it will depend on whether you feel drained or whether you feel vitalized. So that's like a personal thing that you will work with and you'll be able to work with, but it'll be really positive for you. And yeah, so basically just Mars is going to be interacting with almost all the outer planets, which is a big deal, which just basically means on a non-astrological level, you're going to get lots of different deep transformations occurring over 2021, again, because of almost, you've got to think of it as like Mars is interacting with a whole load of different consciousnesses and wisdom from these outer planets, which in some ways I feel like have a more evolved energy. So it's really going to be evolving your energy massively. So basically by the end of 2021, Aries, you guys are going to be very, very different. And I really do feel like the way that you will see yourself will be really, really different. I do feel like you'll have lots of breakthroughs to do with your own self-worth, which will be big. And that will do things as well to do with obviously your finances, and how you receive whatever it is that you want, and particularly how you will receive things because of the resources that you have personally. Like, what are your gifts, your abilities, the experiences that you've had to now. All of these have got real value, and I think you're going to start to see a new level of value within yourself. And as you see a new level of value within yourself, you'll find that therefore obviously the reflection will be that the world will see a new level of value in you. Now the other thing is, you will have lots of different things going off in almost like your friendship communities or different groups or communities that you associate with, whether they are religious ones, spiritual ones, sport ones, gym ones, fashion ones, whatever it might be. You know, I feel like there's going to be, I actually feel like you're going to have a changing of the guard in some level to do with your friendship groups. Because you have Saturn and Jupiter there, and they do this amazing conjunction at the end of 2020, which kind of superpowers a whole new kind of energy coming in. But I do really feel like it's going to be a paradigm shift in the house that occurs. And for you guys, Aries ascendants, risings, that is in your 11th house. So I feel like you'll have a paradigm shift to do with the communities that you associate with, the soul family that you associate with, the friendships that you associate with. I think there'll be a really big shift there, and it will end up being radical, but again, it will be highly supportive ultimately to your highest potential. And so that's something else that's always really going off there. Aries, there'll be a need to, and I don't know that all of you will feel this, but I feel like you're going to want to, or life's going to be encouraging you to kind of either not be traveling so much or not be escaping so much. I actually am hearing the word from your Akashic records. It's more that you won't be escaping so much. If any of you feel like sometimes you feel like you have to escape from situations, and I think that's why I was just being shown it as traveling, because I was just seeing like somebody like going from place to place to place, because it's kind of like they always start to feel trapped if they stay in one space for too long. That's obviously metaphorical, but I do really feel like because the North Node is going to be in your 3rd house of Gemini, there's going to be a need to become more familiar with your immediate environment, whatever your immediate environment is. And the South Node, which is obviously in Sagittarius, which is in your 9th house, the 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius, and that is very much like traveling, going into the unknown. So I feel like that is going to be not so much of a focus for you in 2021, as there's going to be more of a focus on what you already know and kind of refining that further, like getting more out of what you already know and what is already in your environment. But you're never going to feel bored there, trust me, because Gemini is never ever bored, and Gemini is in your 3rd house. So you know there'll be so much to gain, and there could actually be a lot of joy and playfulness through you actually almost staying more in sort of getting to know one environment more than what you've ever done before, put it that way. So that's something else that I do really, really see. And then again, I do feel like there's a chance to have, we briefly touched on it, but almost like these breakthroughs to do with you, with your own self-worth. To be honest, that's going to be coming through multiple different aspects. So I do feel like self-worth is going to be a really, really big thing for you guys, Aries, in 2021. And this is probably also why you will have paradigm shifts within the communities that you associate with or the friendships that you have, because as you change your self-worth and it gets enhanced, you will start to be a vibrational match to different types of communities and different types of people and friendships and stuff like that. And also, you know what, anything that you get in dreams, your dreams will be really powerful. They have been for ages anyway, but I feel like this year they're going to become even more powerful because we have Neptune in that 12th house. So make sure you get decent sleep if you can, because there's actually going to be a lot of soul processing while you're sleeping. And if you're not getting so much sleep, just think of it as you not getting so much time at the gym. You need the gym to kind of build the muscles, to build the fitness or whatever it is that you might do. But obviously, if you don't get enough sleep, it's almost like you can't expect to get the same sort of processing and downloading on a soul level as what somebody would get that has more sleep, if that kind of makes sense. So think about that as well. Getting some really good sleep hygiene, I think, will be really awesome for you guys. So that's just like a really kind of brief little splurt about what's going off with you. Now what we'll do is, I have actually something I have to admit to you guys. So I recorded this video and then I was starting to do 4 piles, and then I realised I'd bitten off more than I could chew, and I couldn't possibly, in the time period that I had left, do all of the zodiac signs and do them for 4 piles. So I'm kind of having to do this one again because I'm just doing 3 piles. And what I did do originally was I got these new cards the very first day that I was recording. And obviously, guys, you were my first lot being Aries. So I've used these the whole way through. Now, I shuffled them obviously live at the time and I pulled out this card. I don't want to reshuffle them again because now the readings that I did, I actually talked about this card. So if I was to shuffle it again and we got a different card, it wouldn't make some of the other readings make sense. So you just have to trust me. I shuffled this and it came out. And this was the card that you guys got that I was actually really excited about and I thought was awesome, because this is the Ace of Wands. And again, I just really feel like this is this whole thing of like you sparking up, as you showing up as a different person by the end of 2021. Like I say, because you've got Chiron there, your self-worth's going to be changing. But I just feel like you're going to, again, I feel like you're going to be given lots of energy and lots of vitality to do stuff too, as well, with Mars now having got out of its retrograde, which would have been complicated the last 6 months of 2020. But now Mars will be going forward, and like I say, it'll be interacting with all these higher consciousness planets, and this really is going to, like, this isn't a word, but like maverick ties you. So you're going to become way more maverick within your reality and within your consciousness of yourself. And I do feel like this energy is really going to be awesome for you guys, and you're going to really feel it. Just one thing as well that I do just want to say is just be mindful to some of you Aries, and you'll know who this is when I say this, but be careful that you don't get pulled into the drama and the fight that might be going off in the more bigger global scale, because that will potentially drain some of your energy, which you could be putting into your own creative projects. And I know that a lot of you Aries that really feel that Aries like signature within you, you will have that very much that kind of warrior and that kind of protective vibe, and that will often pull you to take sides with things that are occurring. And your Akashic records is just saying be really mindful about that, because you do, ideally a lot of this energy is for you to use for you, and not to use it on other causes or other people's fights, because you've got some really important things to be focusing on in 2021. So you want to be really mindful about how you're channeling that energy. And that's something else as well that I do really feel with this Ace of Wands. So yeah, just be mindful about that. What else do we feel with this? I'm getting it's really time to say yes to a whole load of things that you haven't said yes to before. I know that might sound bizarre because a lot of you Aries really are just like go-getters, as it were. But you know what? We all have these kind of places of like subconscious or unconscious or even conscious resistance to saying yes to certain people, certain situations, or whatever it might be. And I really feel like life is going to be encouraging you to say yes to things that often you've said no to before. And again, I'm also hearing that I kind of feel like 2021 is really going to encourage you guys to kind of keep your energy more localized, in the same way that I feel like it's more about getting to know your immediate environment or getting to know things that you already know well. I just keep feeling this thing about it's really important that you've got to have your energy close to you, because the closer it is to you, the more that you can use that energy to create and manifest whatever it is that you're wanting to create. And I do really get that that's really important. So I'm hearing as well this whole thing about distractions. Be mindful with distractions in 2021, because there is going to be this surplus energy for you guys, and you just want to make sure that you're channeling it and using that in a powerful way. Now also, just to let you know, there are, I wish I could remember this, I think it's in June and in November, Mars is interacting with not only almost a direct hit of a strong astrological alignment, which is Saturn square Uranus, but also at the same time that is occurring, there's also going to be eclipses, and Mars, your planet, is going to be interacting with all of those energies. So bearing in mind that June and November, just be really mindful about where your energy is at and what you're doing with your energy. And I would say, if you wanted to be more like almost like a strategist, or like a psychic strategist with a prediction of your energy of the future, I would try and make sure that whatever goals that you have, try and make sure that you've got something under your belt before you get to June, and then again before you get to November. So when there's almost like this injection of all of this energy with these, with the Saturn square Uranus kind of direct hit, and also these eclipses with Mars interacting with all of them, this energy can be used to further fuel your creative projects rather than maybe get pulled up into some other type of chaos. So that's what I'm also hearing for you guys too. But I do feel as well, like you guys, I can really feel like a huge potential is for you guys to be really, really very different by the end of 2021. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of you will have been very different by the end of 2020. But I still feel like there's more that's going to almost unveil again. I'm hearing this word of unveiling. It feels like you're going to keep unveiling parts of yourself, to the world, and therefore you'll get a different response back from the world, because you're going to show something very different. And I do get that it's all going to be really, really positive for you, which is really, really cool. And also the Ace of Wands is very, very much an Aries energy, 100%. So again, this feels to me like so much is in your favour. I do want to say though, be mindful for any kind of like, not false starts, but you might have a couple of false starts, and just don't worry about it. Allow yourself to not get frustrated about it, or get all of the frustration out. And when you don't feel frustrated, in your own time, Aries, so you are your own controller of it, then come back and do whatever there might have been a false start at. This is not going to be a problem at all, but it is all about how much you let it bother you, if that makes sense. But it's really just, again, a further refinement. And actually, you're going to be able to do something better because there was a false start to it earlier. So just remember, it's all in your favour, Aries, 100%. So, and now let me show you the 3 piles. Because also as well, because I changed schedule from going from doing 4 piles to 3 piles, I do think as well you guys might want to think about being mindful that you don't bite off more than you can chew, like I did with this, because I kind of feel like all readings reflect everything back with what happens in the moment. And I do feel like this is something, and my guides are actually saying, yes, it totally is. Just be mindful you're not biting off more than you can chew, because there will be lots and lots of this sort of energy around that is your type of energy. So you want to make sure that you're channeling it the way you want to. But anyway, here are the 3 piles. We have pile number 1. We have pile number 2. And then we have pile number 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the crystals in the extended reading, but we're going to channel, obviously like usual, the stones from the Shamanic Meze in the beginning. So this is pile number 1. And this is the crystal that goes with it. This is actually a ruby. I don't know how well you can see that. This is pile number 2, so feel into it if this is the one that has your answer. And then this is the crystal. This is a beautiful crystal, I love this. I can't remember what it's called, so I'll just write it down in the description. And then this is pile number 3. This is the crystal. I'm going to say this wrong, but I always say it's Moonakai. I love Moonakai. Cool, so feel into your answer. Bearing in mind with these, this is going to be relevant for sun, moon or rising sign of Aries. Also know that I've done these readings so that you can come back to them at a different time and you might be pulled to a different answer. So I've had them so they're kind of really active and they'll work dynamically with whoever engages with them over 2021. And then the other thing, the way that I've worked with these is basically because essentially I'm going to be doing so many readings and extended readings for all of the different signs, for Akashic, for love, for money, for spirit guides, for all of this stuff. If you want, you can use your very own intuition. And if you have a situation, you can ask your subconscious mind, your intuition, your spirit guides, whoever or however it is that you work, and say which is going to give me the answer. And even though you might get something like Virgo, pile number 2 for the Akashic records, and you might have nothing to do with Virgo in your astrology, but that will probably have the answer that you really need to hear, because that's the way I've programmed these to be. So you can totally use it 100% flexibly with your own intuition. Just be clear on what it is you want an answer to do with, and then allow your intuition to show you which star sign, which question, like Akashic, love, money or spirit guides, and then which number pile. And there'll always be pile 1, 2 or 3, so then you can use them like that as well, which I think you guys might like because it's more creative and it allows you to have more of your own independence and autonomy, because why should you be defined by your sun, moon or ascendant sign? I mean, I don't buy that. But anyway, cool. Let's go over to pile number 1. See you there. Okay, so this is for everybody that chose message number 1 as holding for what your Akashic records want to tell you, Aries, for about 2021 in 2021. Like I say, this is timeless anytime. I'm going to put your reader crystal to the side because we'll go into that in the extended. Now we'll just go straight into this one and channeling this one. So let's see. What do your Akashic records want to tell you about 2021? Okay, so I immediately know the people that pull this pile, if you're watching it before sort of January and February of 2021, there's going to be so much occurring for you during that time period. And I'm also getting that you just need to make sure that you have quite a grounding, almost like meditative part of you active and present, because there's going to be so many different stimuli coming in. For some of you, this will be on an internal level, like there'll be lots that you'll suddenly start processing mentally, emotionally. And for many of you, it will all be stuff on a physical level, like stuff is just going to come in whatever way it is, that literally then means that you get super activated on that internal level. Okay, now if you're watching this after January and February of 2021, whatever is currently going off for you now in some ways is very, very relevant to what was occurring in January and February of 2021. Okay, and it's very much as well about this is really sort of activating your drive. Everybody that put this pile, you're really being activated to I'm hearing these words, conquer the unknown. So the unknown within an internal part of you, and also the unknown within an external part of you. And also there's something about this pile as well that is very relevant to the fact that Aries has Chiron in its first house overall as an archetypal energy. And definitely everybody that has ascendant in Aries, you're probably, if you've got most of your Aries in the first house, Chiron's going to be there. So Chiron is really helping you bridge the gap between different parts of yourself. And I'm getting that it's actually helping you call back fragmented, lost parts of yourself. So anywhere where you feel like you've lost an energy, you've lost enthusiasm, you're not feeling your usual fired up self, all of that energy is wanting and is in the process, and for some of you may already have come back to you, because you really need all of this energy within you to then go into the unknown in different areas of your life. Some of you, obviously, this will be pushing forward into the unknown aspects of a relationship, so you'll be developing your own soul's journey to do with how you relate on that sort of like deeper, intimate, sexual, loving way. And other ones of you, this will be to do with like your career pushing through into a new way, money pushing through to like either earning money in a new way or earning more money in a new way. There's something about all of this that's kind of driving and pushing you forward. And it's definitely helping you create a new self-image. Basically, all of this is helping you to see yourself in a new light, and therefore when you're seeing yourself in a new light, suddenly new opportunities come through. And I'm also getting like diamond in the rough. So this is I'm getting Aladdin as well, Aladdin vibes coming in. So there's something about you guys may have had like a dream or an aspiration or an expectation for something in your life, but there's been a part of your psychology that's not actually, even though you do want it, and there's a part of your psychology that believes that you are good enough, there's a part of you, sort of like a slightly unhealed part, which I'm getting for most of you is sort of like it's occurred around those kind of childhood years, that actually for some reason doesn't actually think you're fully either capable or good enough or deserving enough of either this person in a relationship, this increase in money, this new career opportunity, whatever this might be. And particularly the words genuine, respect from another person, respect from a job situation, just respect from money, like money recognizing how much you have to offer and how much value you have, and therefore receiving it in that way. So I'm really seeing that the way that you interact with yourself and life from a perspective and a vibration of self-respect and respect for others is really going through a transformation. And diamond in the rough, because actually, you know, it's almost like a lot of work that's been done on yourself, particularly the last 6 months of 2020, is you've been chipping away. You've literally been chipping away at, like, it's not even the imperfections of you, but like you've been chipping away at the parts of you that no longer serve you, and actually you're really starting to now get to the diamond within you. And then actually once, because you're so close to having like chipped away, so you're now that fully formed diamond. And now really 2021, if you can get yourself into the right mindset by, like I say, using that Aries energy, that childlike enthusiasm and wonder and optimism, if you can use that in many situations in 2021, really all you'll be doing is just polishing up that diamond, which is you. And polishing is so much easier than like chipping away to actually get to the diamond. But my guides are also saying in your Akashic records, are saying this is going to be a perspective thing as well. So it's about getting into that perspective to do with yourself. Anyway, cool, we can channel forever. So now let us go into these cards. And like I say, I lined up completely different cards to use for tarot, but now obviously we're going to go with these because obviously they came last minute and it seemed like, I don't know, divine inspiration. So remember to follow divine inspiration during 2021. And you know what, you guys have that energy which can totally do that. You can instinctively and intuitively feel things and respond to them in kind of like an instinctive primal type of way. And it's really good for you to be accessing that, because when you're in your healthy Aries energy, you know, your instincts, they will always be bang on, they'll be correct. For you guys, and this is coming through for some of you, you'll even get a certain awareness of scent to do with when something is in alignment for you and when something is not in alignment for you. And also your solar plexus will completely as well give you information and insight for what is in alignment with you and what is not. Let's have a look. So we have 3 of stones. So that's 3 of pentacles, I'm guessing anyway. 5 of stones. 10 of blades, so 10 of wands. These cards are beautiful. Page of vases, so that I'm guessing will be Page of Cups. Oh wow. And the Magician. I love how they shimmer. Okay, so just give me a moment just to feel into all of this, and you feel into it as well. Okay, so what your Akashic records want to tell you, Aries, for 2021. You know what, I'm really getting pulled to these two things to begin with. So there's something about your Akashic records that I wanted to tell you about, like gambling and taking risks. And the reason why I'm saying that is because actually these remind me of somebody, even though it's 5 of stones, which is 5 of pentacles, which is often seen as like being left out in the cold, or kind of like feeling like, you know, your chips are all down, you're on like a losing streak type of thing. I actually feel like this is more like rolling the dices of different opportunities. And also with the Magician, I don't know if you can see, there's like a fairground, like with the shimmery things in the background. And this just really makes me feel like there is something about you guys understanding how to take healthy risks. But actually it's really seeing that it's not so much about risking anyway, but it's about finding healthy opportunities. And I do really feel as well, I mean, obviously, you don't think you have to be psychic to know this, that 2021, obviously there's lots of things that collectively as humanity we're working through, particularly after what happened in 2020. So it's not realistic to think that things will suddenly go all back to normal, everything will be fine and just there'll be no disruption. We're on this process of humanity is really, really changing the order and the way that we do things. So that does mean that there will be quite a lot of, let's say, it will literally be like a fairground ride, lots of highs and lows, lots of things that come out of nowhere, and then moments of just like waiting in a long queue to get on a ride, and then going on the ride and it just being something completely unpredictable. And you know, there's all of this kind of energy going off. So actually it is also really important that you start to understand what is a healthy opportunity for you and what is not. And also there's something as well about that, where when we see the Page of Cups here as well, right next to the Magician, your emotions, how you feel about stuff, is actually going to give you a huge amount of insight to whether something is a good opportunity or an opportunity that is not right at this moment in time. And I'm really getting those specific words, not right at this moment in time, because it's kind of like, this is for some of you, so feel into this and just remember this if it happens in the future. Some of you will be given opportunities, and if you were to say yes to that opportunity at that moment, it wouldn't yield the success that you think it would. However, if you spot that opportunity, don't say no to it, but keep it open without committing to it, then later on down the line, you will intuitively start to understand, the Magician, that actually now is the time to solidly commit to that opportunity that presented itself earlier on. Okay, so that's really quite specific, and it'll be different for all of you in different areas of your life, but that's just something to be mindful about. And I'm also getting that the thing is, you'll understand with this opportunity, because when it first comes in, there might be a lot going off in your life. Like, you might feel a bit overwhelmed at the time when this opportunity presents itself to you. Here with like the 10 of Wands, you know, there's kind of like a lot going on. And the thing is, so your vibration is in a real space of kind of like, it's processing a lot and it's quite static. If I was to energetically see you, I could see like static interference in your energy field. It's not a bad thing, it's just that lots is getting integrated within you. The opportunity comes up and it will be a great opportunity. However, if you take it at that moment, your energy is still incoherent, it's not consistent, it's not stable, and something about your energy of that instability when that opportunity comes in will play out as to how that opportunity then progresses if you fully commit to it. Then what my guides are saying, your Akashic records is saying, is keep that option open, keep it as a possibility, but don't really make any solid plans or commitments to it. Allow whatever this overwhelmment is, or all the stuff that's going on, or even just like the self-growth moment that you're going through, to fully integrate within you. And then then you'll know when it suddenly becomes the right moment to actually take steps to collaborating with this opportunity or person or whatever it is. So don't shut it down, but don't fully commit to it, and keep it open until you intuitively feel like, and this actually reminds me of this card as well, until you intuitively feel like it is the right moment. Because you'll understand, there'll be like this divine timing moment which you will instinctively, Aries, really instinctively feel, and that's when to go for it. And my guys are saying there's something about, I don't know if any of you guys have read this, I haven't and I keep meaning to, but something like, is it like To Some the Art of War? It's definitely called The Art of War. And actually, if you guys were to read that book or just understand some of those concepts, it's going to help you so much throughout 2021, because it's really about you operating in like almost like a higher consciousness to do with many situations to do with your life. And there's going to be so much wisdom within that book, Art of War. So if you feel called to, I definitely say just check that out. Even if you just maybe do it like because I think it's small little paragraphs and verses of stuff, you could almost use it like an oracle, just like spin to it for a day and then see what message it gives you, and then see how that plays out for you. And my guys are really saying it's really going to be playing out for you on a psychological level, because once again, with Chiron being in your first house of Aries, it's really, really kind of like, I'm hearing like helping you grow up and mature while still completely keeping that playful, adventurous like spark of life that you naturally have within you. But I'm also really seeing as well that there really is going to be a really, really good opportunity to be collaborating. And, you know, definitely with this Aquarius energy, and you might actually find my video about 2021, what your Akashic records want to tell you about Saturn and Uranus. You know, there's this real thing about how you're going to choose to collaborate this year. Who are you choosing to collaborate with? What are you choosing to collaborate on? And also it's very much, and this came up a lot in the other Akashic record reading that was just more general, but clearly this must be a big theme for everybody. Because what the Akashic Records is saying to me is, like, if you see here, somebody's coming in with a wand or a star, somebody's coming in with more like a, I don't know, a spade or something, and somebody's coming in more like with a spear. It's really about collaborating with people that have different qualities and even potentially different belief systems to you, but that ultimately they're still very harmonious, and there's so much to be gained by you pooling in all of these different resources. It's like I'm getting these words, your mind is many minds, bringing together very, very different thought processes and people and abilities to help you create and collaborate. And I'm seeing that over all different areas of your life as well, Aries. So just kind of really, really feel into that. But it's also about being open to it at the right moment. And I also, one thing that I would just say is, I feel like as well, there's something about this pile 1 Aries, where nothing is really, I mean, in many ways, nothing is really set in stone. There's only a few things in everybody's soul path which are absolutely going to happen. They're fixed points. But there's actually so much flexibility. There's so much flexibility that goes off. And with this one here, the 5 of Stones, even though this is supposed to be the 5 of Pentacles, which is being left out in the cold and stuff like that, I'm actually now almost seeing it like these cubes here. I don't know if you can see them. These cubes here are kind of like about to be caught by these 2 hands. So it's kind of like there's going to be many, many different options and possibilities going off for you. And there is a way for you to collect all of those opportunities, but you need to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed, like this card here. Make sure that you don't get overwhelmed. And for some of that, it's about just understanding timing, understanding when to act, understanding when to wait. And like I say, I'm just really, my guys keep saying, look, the Art of War, the book The Art of War, will give them so much understanding about how to move forward. And they're actually just saying anyway, for you guys, because you have such a strong natural Aries archetype within you, because of either, you know, the way your astrology is in whatever way, it really, you will gain so much by almost downloading all of that information to do with that book, The Art of War, and applying it to different principles within your life. It's really, really, really going to help ground you and also help you open up to be like even more of a conscious creator than what you already are. Because I'm really getting as well that some of you may have areas of your life that feel sorted and in alignment. Also, some of you may not, but wherever you are within that, there's still way more available to you for you. But anyway, let's get some more information on this. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so my guides are also just giving random little messages. So we're going to write them down as and when they come. So I'm just getting... so random. I'm going to go through these, we're going to channel into these properly when we go into the extended. But just what I'm getting here is wait or waiting for the weather to come good. So we'll put that to the side, don't know what that means, but anyway. Right now, okay. Whoa, some cards just flicked absolutely everywhere, the whole pack. That was this thing called dream time. So what I just want to say to you as well is notice your dreams, watch out for your dreams. Bearing in mind as well, if some of you don't actually aware that you're dreaming or you can't remember your dreams, pay attention to your daydreams in waking life. All of that's going to give you information because there's so much information there. I actually think your guides as well, your Akashic records are saying that's one of the ways that you will unconsciously also be reading into your own Akashic records by watching what you're daydreaming to, or also being aware of what your dreams are telling you at night. So yeah, just consider that. Now let's see. I want to go for one of these as well because they are so random. Right, let's have a look. So we now have, oh wow, the Empress. That's a beautiful card. So, okay, let's look into that. Nurturing, something being birthed again, a new beginning. All of those things are shouting out again. Wow, action. Okay. Great, because this is something that Aries energy, you can naturally do action, but I'm definitely getting it's about doing action in a different way to yield more of a harvest. And I'm also getting the Virgo archetype interestingly coming through and saying for you guys, it's about having more discernment about what you're letting into your life and also what you're letting go of. Some of you are holding on to things that need to be let go of, people, situations, mindsets, whatever. It's all different for all of you. But also some of you are really needing to integrate different people, situations and mindsets. So there's a range of what's going on there, but we'll check it out in more detail. Then we have the Hedgehog. Acceptance, embrace who you are. Oh, that's such a lovely message, particularly because of everything we've talked about with Chiron, the planet which is known as the wounded healer, which is in your first house of how you look and appear and how you not express yourself, but how you your self-identity, the self-identity that you've created in this lifetime. Then we have the Panther, protection. Oh wow, consider who you allow to take your energy and who to give it away to freely. That is literally what we were just saying about the Virgo archetype. Some of you need to let go of certain people, situations and stuff like that. And some of you need to allow different people and situations to come in and penetrate you more, to integrate it. That's really important because we just said that just before that came over. Then here, this one's called Skill, but we'll totally read the picture intuitively. These are insane. They're so cool. Skill as well, that is very much, I always think Aries is highly skilled in to be honest, in anything it decides to put its mind to, because you're at the very beginning of the zodiac and a bit like Pisces at the very end. I kind of feel like you have every option and possibility in front of you because all the zodiac signs are in front of you, in the same way that Pisces has everything available to it because all of the signs have already gone through the phases to get to it. So you kind of had this incredible ability, but obviously we'll go into that more too. Great. So what we'll do is we'll now go into the extended reading. I'll leave an information of all how you can go about getting that, etc., etc. But what we'll do is we're going to channel into the crystal, which was the ruby. Ruby as well, I just want to tell you this, I think it's interesting. The ruby is known as the spiritual warrior as a crystal, and obviously Aries energy, you had that warrior vibe. Yeah, you just totally have that passionate warrior type of vibe where you can defend, where you can explore, when you can expand, you can do so many things. It really is about how you apply your mindset. We'll then go into the Empress and action to see what that's kind of saying to go along with things. I do feel like the Empress is a really important message as well. I don't know why, just because we put it in the center and there's something about what you're birthing and growing, but you are doing it in a different way to normal. And obviously we'll check out the messages from your animal spirits. Like I say, this one seems to be very much to do with some of your astrology with Chiron. This one very much to do with who and what you're letting in and out of your life. Really, really important. We'll check out you with your skills, and then also I want to see what this is. Wait or waiting for the weather, for the weather to come good. By the way, usually whenever I channel into these messages, they mean something completely abstract, but we go with it because it also allows, you guys should know this as well anyway, you know, if you really want to tap into your intuition, sometimes the more abstract resources you use, the easier it is for your spirit guides and your universes to get messages into you, because you've got to kind of bypass that logical mind, and the more abstract something is, the easier it is to tap into that abstract space, which is where all the psychic and intuitive information is held. Cool. Anyway, hope that was good. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook on Abigail Grace Psychic. Also, if you want readings, and I've got loads of different products coming out and stuff like that, check out my website, Abigail Grace Psychic. And also I have another YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, which you might like. Check out the archetype for Aries, the highest potential, because I think that might also give you more information about who you are, what you are, and that amazing energy to use. That's the one that's kind of really, really shouting out to me. So cool. I look forward to reading for you again, and hopefully see you in the extended. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. So hi guys, this is for everybody that chose pile number 2 as holding the message for what your Akashic records want to tell you about 2021. So welcome to your reading, Aries. So obviously we'll go into this one on the extended, see what the crystal wants to say then, so we'll put it to the side. But first we'll go into channeling this one. So what, from the shamanic message, what do your Akashic records want to tell you about 20? Okay, this is totally about softening edges in your life and within you. I'm also really getting as well that after the first half of the year, despite circumstances, things are just going to start to get a lot more smoother and more flowing for you. And particularly after the June eclipse, there's something about, you know, whatever happens then. And also if you're watching this reading after that point, whatever is going on with your life now has got something relevant to that eclipse and smoothing things out and giving you more flow. But it might not appear that way, because you know there's going to be quite a few things where things are not all going to be as they seem in 2021, just in general, just generally globally, let's say. But at the same point, there's going to be this really interesting thing where it's almost like we're going to get loads more split realities. So there's going to become so many different ways of believing or seeing a situation that it's actually just going to start almost to create very different realities which are all coexisting together. Now, I know that that technically happens already anyway, but there's something about that that's just really important for you to be mindful of in 2021. And it's something about, as well, where you're going to focus, where you're going to put focus in on. Because this really is going to... There is a lot of free will in 2021, regardless of how things might seem. There's a lot of free will in 2021, but it's very much about using a higher perspective, using a higher consciousness to show you where those free will options are. And for you as well, literally it's just started to rain. I can hear it. And like being really shamanic, I always know the weather speaks for sure. So as well, there's something as well about for you to gain a higher consciousness on these different situations, so you understand what free will to take and what free will options you have. You're going to have to listen to your emotions. And I'm also getting as well that like sometimes as a raw energy, I don't want to generalize to you guys at all because you're so individualistic and I don't want to generalize, but you know, like as a raw energy of an Aries archetype, that emotion can be more expressed as like passion, joy, anger, frustration, defiance. Those are the ways, creativity, those are the ways these energies can work out. But there's something about, instead of you using that more kind of fiery energy to get into your emotions, you actually need to go into more of the softer kind of like vulnerable part of your emotions. So instead of sometimes getting angry about a situation, maybe allow yourself to express sadness or disappointment or whatever it might be, because there's something about instead of using anger as a way of expressing how you feel, change that anger into a completely different emotion which is way more watery, kind of like a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio type of energy. So express the vulnerabilities about how you're feeling, because then you'll find you won't be able to get angry, and in doing that you start to change your reality and your constructs of your belief systems around what is available to you, because you soften, you expand, and therefore there's more options available. I'm getting that kind of like really strongly to do with this pile. And also I just want you to know as well with this stone, this is a very specific stone as well that is in my shamanic mosaic. An opportunity will come out of the blue. And it's so interesting. Pile 1 was more like they needed to wait a little bit. Don't say no to that opportunity, but don't take it on fully board. Just wait for them to integrate stuff within themselves until they take the opportunity. With you, I'm actually getting that you just need to take this opportunity. And the reason why you can take it with such certainty is because it's already something that you really know on a soul level is your true authentic self. So you'll know this opportunity when it occurs because it will happen fast. And it's something which completely resonates with your soul truth, with your authentic soul truth, okay? So it's about taking it. And then it's about figuring it out as you go along, because the opportunity might come up quite quick and you're sort of unprepared for it. And so you have to go into this opportunity without really having a full strategy for this opportunity. But that's completely how it should be, and that's the best way for this to be. And it's also about you sort of going with that instinctive part within you and trusting stuff, but also allowing yourself to create this pathway as you go along. So there's quite a lot of trust with this, but it's like a very pioneering kind of entrepreneurial energy as well that I'm picking up with these kind of opportunities. My guys just want me to clarify right now, that's not to say that this is just something to do with career, job, money, housing, anything like that, with the word entrepreneurial. It could also be a friendship or a romantic relationship, which is just very pioneering for you. It's maybe out of the norm for you, it's something different, or it's something which is so truly authentically you that previously you might have felt a little bit overwhelmed to have said yes to such a person or opportunity. So stay open to that type of thing. Anyway, let us go into the cards. So see. I feel like you guys are well prepared though. Whatever this is, I will take both of these. Whatever this is, I feel like you're really well prepared for it. So we have Queen of Matches, which is Queen of Wands, and the Justice card. Love the Queen of Wands. Love how it's got two wolves here. Wow, interestingly, straight away I'm like, boom. Look, this is important to do with the collaboration. You know, because we've got the Justice here with like two things, and then we've got the Queen of Wands here with two wolves. This is absolutely about you collaborating very, very differently. Collaborating in a way which means that, oh wow, this is interesting. I didn't think this was going to come out. Collaborating in such a way so that, I suppose it backs up what was getting channeled by this crystal here, but it's collaborating in such a way so that you, whoever this person is or these opportunities are, they're going to help you feel like you can be way more vulnerable and open. And it's just going to expand your mental and emotional toolbox, which will actually ultimately expand the success that you have in different areas of your life. It's also really like you taking charge for an area of your life where previously maybe it's never quite yielded the effort that you've put in. So I'm actually getting as well for this power, like literally since as far back as, wow, as far back as 2000 energy was building in you, which then 2012 it somehow built even more, and now in 2021 it's almost like the full completion of that, like the karmic cycle of whatever this is that you've been learning on a soul level is coming to a place where you are just owning it. Whatever it is, you are just owning it, and it's seriously working for you, and it's actually bringing, you know, many new different people into your life who respect you and value you in a completely new way. And it's going to make you feel amazing. Anyway, let's just go on. These cards are so beautiful. I totally love them. Like I say, this is the first time I've ever used them. So what else do your Akashic records want to tell you? So we've got quite a different spread coming out already. So things are building as well, and there is part of you that's sort of like climbing a mountain, but once again, you know, this feels good to you, Aries. You like competition, you like trying things, you like conquering things, you know, you like exploring, you like pushing your boundaries. So all of that energy is coming in as well for you, 100%. So let's just see here. So we have 6 of Stones, which is 6 of Pentacles. I always think this is the energy of give, receive, share and grow. Interesting as well, I think that's quite a big theme with the Aquarius energy that we're going into. From basically December 19th, 2020, we start a whole new 20-year cycle in Aquarius energy, okay? And then we're also starting a whole 200-year air cycle as well. So things are very much going to be massively changing, and give, receive, share and grow, and having communities that you really connect to is really key. Oh, I love this card. High Priestess. Interestingly, what I'm getting with that straight away is spiritual protection and guidance. You're getting so much of it. And for me as well, Queen of Wands and the High Priestess share something. I know often people think the Queen of Cups is really emotional and so intuitive, so that makes sense to the High Priestess. But there's something that I really feel with the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. I think it's because the High Priestess has so much self-belief in herself that she's able to blend her boundaries with cosmic boundaries without losing herself, and that takes quite a strong identity of self to do. And to me, the Queen of Wands also has that strong identity of self. The High Priestess as well can use timing to her advantage. She can know something years in advance, and she can hold her nerve to do with waiting. It's like Braveheart moments of holding, even when most people would react, because she has this kind of like deeper understanding of what's really at play. And for me, the Queen of Wands also kind of has that vibe as well of like a deep courage. And you Aries totally have courage. It's like a big archetypal vibration I feel within the Aries signature, right? So I feel like that as well is like really, really trust yourselves and what's coming in, particularly when things get unstabilized, or particularly when different opportunities coming in. You just trust yourself, because you absolutely know what is best for you. Okay, then we have, oh wow, the Ace of Stones. So that is the Ace of Pentacles. Again, that just reiterates this whole thing about new opportunities and things coming in. But interestingly, it looks like a crystal ball on this one too. So once again, this is echoing me and pulling me back to the High Priestess energy. Absolutely, you've got to trust your intuition. Interestingly, Power 1 was trusting their instincts a lot. Guys, you is absolutely trusting your intuition a lot. And there is, I feel like, quite a big difference between the two. But you need to feel into your own body and get to understand your own internal mechanisms to work out which is which. But either way, ultimately, your instincts and your intuition will generally always point to the same thing. And then we have here 5 of matches. Oh, with a little rat. I love rats. You know, that to me is interesting as well, just saying as well about communities again. This important thing about having communities and finding your tribe. It's a big thing anyway for 2021. But you know, rats, and this is really interesting, rats have to live in communities. If they are by themselves, a lot of them end up dying basically, which is really, really sad. They need communities that much. And you know why they need communities so much? Because I remember hearing this on a TED talk once, because I'm a massive rat fan. I used to have rats when I was a little kid. But basically, I love all animals, but so is the point. Rats have one of the biggest parts of their brain designated to compassion. How friggin' amazing is that? And so, you know, this is this thing as well, you know, maybe that's really something for you to look into. And it did come up a bit in Power 1, this thing about having way more compassion for yourself. And I feel like it's specifically to do with yourself. As I mentioned in this other Power 1, you know, Aries sometimes can be really hard on themselves, like to strive and achieve and push their boundaries and conquer. And there's a healthy drive where nothing is good enough to keep you pushing into the unknown, and that's awesome. But there's something about 2021 where, you know, with uncertainties, you know, that, you know, bring compassion into your life, bring compassion into you and your situation, and definitely look for comfort, just comfort from people and communities that are in alignment with your authentic truth. That's really, really important. Right now, sorry, because that all came out without me just pausing. Let me just pause and let me just feel into what's also going on here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I'm getting a couple of messages coming in here. First of all, absolutely new opportunities are coming in for people and situations and stuff like that. And actually thinking about it as well, Aries, particularly Aries ascendant, basically Jupiter and Saturn, this conjunction that I just talked about in the beginning that happened at the end of December 2020 and basically is just impacts a whole load of things for the next 20 years. It's in your 11th house. Your 11th house is the house of Aquarius, and Aquarius is so important due to this square that's happening with Saturn over the whole of 2021. You know, community and like-minded tribes and people is really, really important to you, and you will be given opportunities of that. But these opportunities are going to really only be able to properly come in when you are really being authentic to yourself, okay? Because if you're not truly being authentic to yourself in some way, you won't be the vibrational match to attract in what the universe wants to give you, which is amazing gifts to do with communities and people and like-minded souls as you. And this is a huge opportunity there, but just make sure you're being authentic with yourself. And then I'm also getting as well that depending on when you listen to this reading, when you're already in those soul connections, right? Because I'm also, my guys, the Akashic Records is also saying this is way more than just, you know, communities and tribes on an earthly plane. You're going to be meeting or having way more interaction with people that maybe you already know that are your soul tribe. They are your soul tribe. It doesn't mean that you're all going to be into the same sort of things, although some of you will be. it's quite open, but these are souls that have a significant part to play in your life, particularly when you are in alignment with your true self. Now, don't be hard on yourself, Aries. There's no way you have to be a perfect, authentic expression of yourself. No, not even slightly. But it's just starting to bring that awareness into yourself about who you really are, not who you think you should project as an image of yourself into the outer world. It's not that. It's about who you really are, what you really want, and then you'll start to bring these people in. Some of you will already have these people in your life, but maybe they're just going to come in and be more of a main player. Others of you are going to be calling people back that maybe you've not had contact with but are in alignment with your soul future. And some of you, all of you, will be meeting new people which are in alignment with this new future. Now, one of the messages as well that I'm getting really quite strong here, it's coming out with both of these things here, and to be fair, even the High Priestess to a certain extent, is please remember, Aries, that sometimes with this soul tribe, these soul members, it's so weird, sometimes I'm hearing you're going to have to turn the other cheek, and I'm just sort of getting it like with this rat here, that sometimes actually you're just going to have to put down your point of view. Or what's this phrase? Wait, it's just coming in, but I haven't quite got it. Just give me 1 second. Let me just see what guys say. Sometimes it's better to let somebody else win to keep the connection. Okay. What my guides are saying is that if you have that approach of sometimes not needing to win an argument, even if you do know you really are right, not having to win that argument, even though you do know that you really are right, which will help you with this whole softening and having more compassion with other people, and it'll be a really positive trait for yourself. And then paradoxically, what my guides are saying is that then in the future, whenever this happens with somebody or a situation, later down the line, they will actually come to you anyway for more guidance to do with what your perspective was, because once they don't feel like they're in conflict to do with you and they need to prove themselves right, they'll be really truly open to what you were saying, and then actually they will see the gold dust in what you were saying, and they'll want to know more. And actually this will help you step into more of that healthy leadership role, which all you Aries absolutely have. And my guides are saying this will work in many different ways, from like romantic relationships to friendships to work colleagues to business colleagues, to just communities online or whatever the hell it might be. And so just remember that you will, hopefully your consciousness will just suddenly remember what's just been said at the moment when you do need to ideally put down your wand, as it were, put down your point of view and just allow the other person to be right, and then soften and then be completely non-judgmental, or don't tell them that you knew that they would come around to your thinking in the end, just like having no ego to do with the situation whatsoever. And it's actually going to, because there is quite a part of you that really is quite like an oracle. A lot of you listening to this reading, there'll be certain people that are in your life or that will come into your life where you're a bit of an oracle to them. They do actually come to you for sort of like cosmic guidance, but it won't seem like cosmic guidance because they're just asking you about physical things in their life, but really they kind of know that you have this ability to tune into that energy. And I'm actually also getting as well, if you do have this, that also means that you also have someone or some people in your lives which are also oracles for you. And I think that's also part of this tribal energy as well, about like coming together. And my guys are also saying this is how you'll recognize some of these souls as well, because you know things about them on a deeply intuitive level, and they know things about you on a deeply intuitive level. And my guys are also saying the reason why this is because when you're with members that are your soul tribes, and your soul tribe can also be your romantic partner, it could be your wife, your husband, but it could be your kid, it could be your work colleague, it could just be somebody that you happen to meet in a bar and you get on really well with. It could be 1,001 things, right? It's not limited to who these people are or the physical format that they come in. But when you're with these people that are soul tribes, the reason why you are able to intuitively read them so well and they can intuitively read you so well is because your soul star chakra, your 8th chakra, so the silver like glittery ball above your head, which allows you to read into anything, including Akashic records, is finely tuned into each other. So even if you're not aware that you're particularly psychic, you become way more psychic to do with these individuals when your 8th chakras are connected because of a similar soul. Could be soul journey, could be soul contract, but it's really more of a soul journey because there's lots for you to encourage and help each other with. So that's just something to be mindful of. Now let me just get some more cards. Let's see. Oh, I'm just hearing this message as well. I will go into it because it's one of these ones my guides are telling me to write down. And oh no, I can't find my pen. Oh, there we go. And then we'll go into it more into the extended reading. I feel like we've covered it. My guides are saying there's way more to get out of this, but they just said, oh God, it's gone now. Just give me 1 second. Oh, that's it. Winning at all costs is over. That sounds pretty harsh, I know, but I mean, my guides are really showing me that it's really not, and it's something important. So we'll look into that later. It's actually for me to put it onto the orange paper as well. So this makes me actually think it's to do with romantic type of connections. So it's to do with interactions that you guys have on romantic levels. There's something about that. So many of you as well that are particularly interested in a relationship or something's coming up with a relationship, I do feel like this will have some important insight. Anyway, let's go on here. Oh, no friggin' way. You know, Pile 1 had this that came out as well. So this is to do with skill. Okay, so we'll look into that. Let's have a look. So what do your Akashic records want to tell you about 2021? I do feel this pile's very talented as well. You have lots of talents, and I don't even think you're fully expressing them yet. And if you're certainly not sharing them. You're certainly not sharing them to the full extent of what you have, that's for sure. Let's just have a look. So we have Neptune, interesting, and we have, the Sun. Okay, Neptune again, this is this intuition thing. You guys, you know, there's a lot for you to grow and develop with your intuition. I really feel that in 2021. And actually my guys are also just saying, when you come into contact with these people where you really intuitively understand and know about them and they do about you, this is also one of these things which is helping you build your confidence in just how intuitive you are. And just as a little side note. Right, let's see what we have here. Okay, so we have Swan, graceful transformation, soften your heart and find flow. So interesting, because we were talking about things softening, right, within you, and flow with this sword and all with the stone, and then also I don't know how I just said sword. That just tells me it's to do with your belief systems, your mindset. It's softening your mindset and your belief systems 100%. Anyway, so soften your heart and find flow. That reminds me of what we were channeling in the beginning, so it's just reinforcing that's important. But also this softening as well, like what we're saying here, and whatever this is, winning at all costs is over. And like what we're saying about the rat and the companionship and the compassion is a really big deal. Also, interestingly too, Neptune is a massive thing about compassion. Okay, I'm just getting another message that I'm just going to write down. This is really, they always give me them really cryptic, but that's cool because it just means that it's easy to basically pull information from areas that you weren't really thinking of. I know what they just said was... This is such a bad drawing. I didn't know that was going to happen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the words are compassion is where the wood meets the trees. And that's supposed to be 2 trees with a heart and a butterfly at the top. So anyway, we'll go into that. Right. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do now is we'll take this over to the extended reading. We will channel into this totally beautiful crystal. I wish you could truly see how beautiful it is. I don't know if you can on camera. Anyway, we'll channel into that crystal, see what it wants to say. We are going to go into these energies here. Oh, what was that one? Didn't turn it over. Oh, wow. Antelope. New pathways. I mean, we already said loads of new opportunities are coming out with you as well. So we'll check out what are these new pathways and opportunities. We'll go more into this swan energy here as well. We'll also see what the skills are as important, what this white card energy is about, the Neptune and the sun, what's going off there. I feel lots to do with intuition for sure. And then we'll look into this as well. Winning at all costs is over, and we're thinking about this in relationship dynamics, but also compassion is where the wood meets the trees. I do feel like there's quite a strong component here to do with relationships for sure, so I just want to tell you that right now. So that'll probably just give you a bit more of a pull of whether you feel like this is calling to you. I do feel like this is exciting. I'm really excited to see what this crystal is going to say. But anyway, cool. I'll see you hopefully in the extended. I'll leave all the information for how all of this kind of thing works, because there's the ability to basically buy a bigger digital product. So throughout 2021, you have so many different readings to tap into. Because as I'm sure you can see, I always like to go into the readings like really quite deep, and it's stuff for you to really think on. And I try and get quite specific as well. So hopefully there's always something that will meet your need. But anyway, cool. I'll leave all the information there and then hopefully see you on the extended. Yes, Aries, this is going to be really interesting. That's what I can feel. This is going to be really, really interesting. It really is a new way of you connecting in relationships. For sure. But anyway, take care. See you soon. Bye. So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon. Hi Aries, welcome to your readings. This is for everybody that chose pile number 3, is holding the message for what your Akashic records want to tell you about 2021. So we'll leave the crystal, we'll go into that channeled message when we go into the extended reading, so put that to one side. But now let's just first of all go into this shamanic stone. Oh yeah, that reminds me as well. Before we go any further, before I even started reading pile number 1 or pile number 2, my spirit guides were like, pile number 3, just remember 2 of the solar eclipses around the time. So around June, basically the month of June and the month of November are really important and significant for this pile. Your ruling planet Mars is going to be under some tension in some ways in parts of June and November, and it also sort of interacts and it's interrelated to where the eclipses are during that time period. So you just want to be mindful of those time zones. If you're watching this video after those time zones, whatever happened during June and November is really significant to wherever you're at right now when you're listening to this reading. So just kind of pay attention to that in some ways. Maybe what you want to do is, if you're into your astrology, just check out where those eclipses, the eclipse in June and the eclipse in November, play out in your chart, because there'll be something about that that's really useful. And I swear to you, the way that I use astrology is always to just try and give me leverage on where I am and where I'm going. And so actually the more that you look at this in advance, the more that you'll be able to the more that you'll be able to help this work for you, because whether you can hear your spirit guides or not, they will be chatting to your, basically the unconscious parts of yourself, either in daytime or in dream time, and it will help give you sudden ideas and eureka moments about how to best prepare for these situations or whatever you personally need to know. So that's just one quick message before we even channel into anything, because my guides were so specific on this. Just so you know as well, that solar eclipse, the solar eclipses, the one in November is related to the Taurus archetype. So I don't know if you also have Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or you've got significant energy in there, or you might even have North Node in there. That could be really important too for some of you, my guides are saying. So that's the one in November. So you're also thinking it's stuff around self-worth, your resources. I'm getting the words like finances, but really about you being good enough for whatever it is that you are seeking, and that you being a vibrational match for it. And then the one earlier in June, that's one to do with the Gemini North Node. So this could be very much about you looking at expressing yourself in a new way, and kind of like realizing how flexible reality is, and that it's highly dynamic, and that you can break some of your own internal rules of how you see reality and your belief systems, and that's going to help you have massive progress between June and November. There's something around that, okay? So look about flexibility of your belief systems around June, and thinking about like self-worth and creating stability in your life around November. That's really important. Anyway, now we will go into what your Akashic records want to tell you through this. Okay, so I'm hearing, first words I'm hearing is there's oceans of potential in 2021. I am actually also hearing for this pile, like, for some of you, it's like, make sure that you're being conscious of your health and being healthy. But for other ones of you, it's more kind of like, really amp up your well-being lifestyle in some kind of way. And it's not just really purely from the point of view that your records are just saying that it's just going to help increase your vibration, and it's going to actually help you feel just better about yourself and more comfortable in your own body and in your own reality. And it's going to help you feel like when things get unstable and inconsistent, which obviously, you know, that's just something that will happen a bit in 2021. It will happen for everybody. It's just while we're shuffling into new energy and all of that. And also, obviously, bringing together things that happened in 2020 and things still sort of, you know, working themselves through. So there will be inconsistencies and stuff like that. But the more grounded you are in your own body with your own health and well-being, like routines and lifestyle, the more that you won't get distracted and pulled into external chaos that might be going off and all of that kind of thing. So that's just another little message there as well from your records. I'm like seeing this little V in this stone, and it's making me think of V for Vendetta, the film. So it's also making me feel like, again, I'm getting this thing about, for some of you, and this won't resonate with all of you, but for those of you that kind of get pulled into more of the conspiracies of things that are going on, it's just, I'm not saying whether they are right or they are wrong, but all I just know is just make sure that you are harnessing your energy and harboring your energy in a way so that it doesn't get distracted by anything that would seek to divert your attention and focus your amazing, passionate energy in another direction other than what is the direction of more of your potential, let's say. Because there's potentially going to be lots and lots of, there's many different realities that are going to start to play out in 2021, and people are going to fall into groups depending on what they believe, and they will believe their beliefs so strongly that it kind of creates that reality to some extent. So there'll be all of these different realities essentially to choose from, and it's down to you to just be kind of like I suppose a little bit like what your records were saying about your health and well-being. Just be very, very conscious about where you're putting your energy, because there's something about your energy that I'm now seeing like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but just from the point of view, it's very, very precious. So you know how Gollum, if you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, is really into the ring, or calls it it's precious or whatever. You've got to see your own energy, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically, as really precious during 2021. Because I'm kind of feeling like this, the Aries that pulled this, there are going to be significant, to be honest, there's been changes for everybody in this Aries pile, but there've been opportunities actually. There've been more opportunities for 1 and 2, but you are the pile where there really are some potent changes heading your way. So you just want to make sure that your energy is open to those new changes, and that you don't allow yourself to just get pulled off. Because also what I'm seeing is this, or distracted, because what I'm seeing is this is what I'm being shown as energy fields. So you've got somebody with their energy field, and it's a nice circle all the way around them, and just say it's a consistent colour, right? And it's nice and it's vibrant. That's the energy field of somebody who knows what they want, they're focusing on that, and they're just taking action to do with whatever that is that's important to them. They're being consistent with what they want, how they feel, how they think, and the actions that they take. This is amazing. This is what I'm seeing for you as a potential future if you do the same thing as what we just described there, being consistent and having cohesion between you physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. This is awesome. But also what you need to be mindful of is, because there's going to be potentially some really big changes for people that chose this pile, whenever you see somebody energetically that's going through changes, no matter how consistent and stable they are within themselves, their energy field starts to become a little bit more static. Because what you've got to realize is it's almost, imagine it wobbling and shaking into a new frequency, i.e. a different color, a different shape, something like that. So there's going to be that part of you that's going to then start to be a bit more inconsistent as it starts to shake and vibrate to a new frequency, which then becomes your new changes, your new reality, right? So what you need to be mindful of is, while it's going through that kind of transition period where there is inconsistency as things change, there's a lot of energy in somebody's energy field when that's occurring. So you just need to be mindful that you keep that energy focused on what is literally healthy for you, and I mean that in every sense of the word, like healthy for your mindset, your emotions, your physical being, the whole lot, rather than somehow that energy getting tapped into by other things that are going off in reality, which are also going through a real change point and maybe hold quite a lot of intensity, and so they could kind of like pull you in on that direction. Like suddenly if there's a whole load of hype on the media about something, or that kind of thing, or a whole load of hype on YouTube about something, or social media, whatever it might be, I'm not saying don't pay attention to it, because it's always useful to be very well, as an Aries, which is that energy of like going out and seeking, you're like the natural hunter. So it's really great for you to know about the environment that you're in, so that you can basically be best prepared for anything, and also take the most opportunities out of something. But just make sure that you don't get pulled too much into whatever is going on that could be distracting you while you're going through a big change process. That's really, really what I'm getting here. Just 1 minute, there's something else coming in, 1 sec. My lads are just saying something. I'm also getting as well, and think about this metaphorically, right? And then it will play out in whatever way is relevant to you. So I'm just going to give you the most metaphoric version of this. Something is coming to you that has been something that you have agreed upon as a soul before you came into this reality, and it's a big part of your destiny and your life purpose and your North Node in astrology and your life path number in numerology. It's completely in alignment with that. And you're going to realise that you've got almost like a hidden ability or gift to do with whatever this is. And it's just letting you know that that energy is coming through. So I'm starting to see as well that you're going to have like your soul star chakra, so this big gold star up at the top of your head, your ninth chakra, is going to be really quite activated. But I'm also feeling for this power because I'm starting to get an ache in my traps on the right hand side. I do also feel like it is really important that you make sure that you are grounded. And once again, that's going back into those well-being routines as well. I think that is really, really important. But anyway, let's just see what we get out with the cards. Let's see what else we get. Okay, so what does pile number 3 need to know about 2021 from the Akashic records? All these Aries energies. Oh, flipping out straight away. So the first thing we have is Ace of Blades. So Ace of Blades is Ace of Wands. Wow, all flipping out. We're going to leave it unturned until... Actually, I didn't do this with any of the piles, but we're actually just going to let these ones here flip out themselves. So then here we have 7 of Wands. Oh no, wait a minute. That was 7 of Wands. That was Ace of Swords, sorry. Sorry, this is literally, like I say, that new deck that I just got delivered today. So we have Ace of Swords, 7 of Wands. Let's just have 2 more. What's going on? Then we have Knight of Matches, that's Knight of Wands. So it feels like we've got quite a lot of energy going off here. Let's have 1 more. I'm definitely as well getting these words. You need to keep your eyes peeled on the horizon. I really can feel like you want to be well prepared in advance for something that is coming your direction. And then we have 5 of Stones, which is 5 of Pentacles. So pile number 1 also had this one too. So let's have a look. So what is going on? What's this one here? Oh wow, the Lovers right in the very centre of your reading. But this was hidden, interestingly. And I was just saying before, you've got to keep your eyes peeled because something is coming along on the horizon. And I also did say as well that something is destined that's also heading your direction. And it's about you being open and ready for that in some way. So, you know, this is both, this is potentially, this is like a relationship and a connection. So basically it could be somebody romantic, but it also could be a business partner. It could be a significant soul, like family member that, you know, you meet recently or something like that coming in. But this is also about choices. You're definitely going to have quite a few choices to make. And you know what, actually, you're going to be having to make these choices, particularly, life's just going to put you in a position where you're actually going to potentially have to make these choices quite quickly. There's something about this where speed is going on. So the best way that you do know what decisions to make is, like I say, you keep your eyes peeled on the horizon so you get a sense of things coming before they're coming. And I do generally feel like you will have that. There's a very much like an Aries energy that is really intuitive and but very instinctive, very primordial. It kind of reminds me, this Aries instinct energy is like, you know how animals, for example, before tsunamis come, usually all the birds start to leave and lots of animals start to leave and vacate that area because they sense these things coming and they instinctively know what action to take to best preserve themselves or take the best advantage of the opportunity, whatever it might be. In the same way that animals often have that intuitive thing about knowing when something is hunting them, you know, like in the animal kingdom. So there's that kind of thing about this instinctive thing coming out. You really want to keep yourself in a really good position so that you're really open to these, to whatever is coming on the horizon, so that you're really prepared for it. And actually that reminds me about what we were saying before we even channeled into the stone, about what my guide said about those 2 eclipses being really important for you, and sort of June and November are significant time periods with stuff. So that in some ways is already giving you a bit of a where to look on the horizon, you know what I mean? So you want to try and see what intuitive messages or what insights or what gut instincts you get about the sense of things coming. And Aries, you really, really have this ability. You, I also think because you're like first in the zodiac, the first sign, the first house in the zodiac, in some ways it means that you can see easily in one direction all of the other houses and all of the other zodiac signs in the same way that Pisces can, but you see it in a forward way because these are all things yet to come. Pisces sees this in almost like a reflective way because it's all the things that have happened before finally coming to that 12th house, the Pisces house. So this is a really, really important energy for you to be tapping into. I'm really getting these words as well about lighting a bonfire, because I don't know if you can see this here. These cards are really beautiful. But this is matchstick box. It looks like matchstick box with an eye on the top of it. So obviously seven of matches is 7 of wands. And that's often this sort of energy that can be... It can be quite defiant, but it can also be, I'm getting the words here of like resilient, and I'm really getting the word resourceful. And actually resourceful is then tapping into what we were getting about the solar eclipse in November with the Taurus energy. And Taurus energy is very resourceful in terms of it's able to collect lots of resources. And this is like the second sign next to yours as well. So it's very close to you. So many of you will have maybe your Mercury, your Mars or your Venus, if you are a sun sign Aries, actually in Taurus. So that energy is... Hi guys, sorry about that. My battery just flipped out and I have no idea when it did. So let me just go back into the reading. Cool. Right. Okay, so this is now has been really standing out to me. The 7 of matches, which is the 7 of wands. So quite often the 7 of wands can seem like it can be to do with standing up for yourself. It can do with being resilient. It can be doing with like fighting for a cause that you truly believe in. But it can also be about genuine resistance, which causes you more drama. And it can also be about defiance. But what I'm actually feeling with this is, even though a lot of those things that I've just talked about there can really talk about different parts of the Aries archetype, I'm actually seeing this as more about lighting a bonfire. And I'm really kind of seeing this as you... I think the thing is, Aries, you guys are so naturally passionate, you guys have so much energy, you guys love initiating stuff, but I feel in 2021 it really is also about you actually really finishing something that you have started. But I know that some of you will be like, yeah, I do that, yeah, I have, but I'm hearing from my guys that there's an area of your life where maybe you've had a bit of internal resistance to do with it. It's been a part where maybe it's felt like a bit of a burden in some kind of ways, because for some reason I'm actually getting that kind of vibe with this as well, like a slight bit of a burden, or maybe it's more like a hesitation to actually and either or burn a bridge to some part of your life in some way, and you're slightly hesitating on whether or not to do that. But if this resonates with you, this will be something that you've been thinking about for quite a long time, because the energy that I get behind this sort of card is that you've been considering something for really quite a long time. Because when I see that eye kind of looks a little bit tired to me. And I feel like this is something that you've been considering for a really long period of time. And it's either about burning a bridge in your life, so something that you finally say, no more, never again. Or it's actually something about you, like I said before, lighting a bonfire, where this is something that you've been working on for quite a long time. And now it's like you need to take away, there's some action that you're not taking where there's a bit of hesitation, which will feel frustrating to you Aries archetypes or Aries energies for sure. But there'll be somewhere where you've hesitated taking some action, even though you've put quite a lot of committed energy into whatever this project or relationship or whatever it is. And now really it's just about fully committing in some way by literally lighting the bonfire. And that's of all the work that I've seen you do with whatever this is to do with.
And I'm really, really getting that kind of vibe. And again, that for me is kind of pulling in this energy here of the Lovers, of the choice. So not just an actual connection or a relationship, but an actual choice to be made. And you see then that really does fit into as well when we have the Ace of Swords here. So whatever, it's like this, it's a basically burning this bridge, whatever this is, or lighting this bonfire, if that's relevant for you, because I can see either or piles, or some of you it might be a case of both. And both of those actions might be interrelated to do with a certain specific project or something in your life, or direction or goal in your life. And I am seeing that it will require a new kind of way of thinking about something for you to take away that hesitation in either burning the bridge or lighting up a bonfire and fully committing in that direction. Let's just see what that belief is, see if we can get a little bit more about that. Again, I've seen this a few times as well recently with the Five of Stones, which is the Five of Pentacles, which is, I'm really kind of feeling this as well as kind of a, it's like, it's actually letting go. It's actually letting go of something that doesn't have value anymore. And I do think with that value, this lies into how I said about the fact that the Taurus solar eclipse in November is important for the energy of you guys here. And I do kind of I feel the Taurus vibe is quite important in here, because as well, the Knight of Wands, it actually looks like, to me, more like a bull. I don't know if you can see it there. It looks way more to me like a bull. And the bull just makes me think of Taurus. And also you guys that are, let's say your sun Aries, there's a really good chance that you could have your Venus, Mars or your Mercury in the sign of Taurus, because those planets never stray far from the sun. So they're always very close to wherever your sun sign is. And if this is the case, I do think it's also about activating some of that Taurus energy. But anyway, let's just have a look at this belief. But you know what, I want different cards for that. Let's do a different tarot. So what is this belief, this new belief that will be useful for pile 3 being able to let go of the hesitation? So I'm hearing 2 cards and we do read reversed. So let's have a look. Okay, so we have the Star card and, oh nice, the King of Wands. Okay, so the first words and things that I'm getting in to do with this is very much about you guys. It's healing any wounds that you might have of, I want to say being your own authority, but it's not even so much that, because actually for some of you I feel it's also about any limiting beliefs you might have had about being a leader in a certain area of your life. That could be any area. It could be work, it could be a creative project, it could be a relationship, it could be a family situation, it could be anything. But there is a part where there's kind of like this belief system, this new belief system is going to involve you healing. But I'm also hearing the words as reprogramming the way you look at leadership and authority in your life. And then I'm also getting that when you heal, or when you have that new perspective to do with leaders in your life, or you being like a leader, or if you don't resonate with the word leader, it's something like the word authority. So authority in your life or authority internally. When you get this new perspective to do with that kind of energy, which is going to help you change or create a belief system that's really useful for you, then you're going to find the choice so much easier about either burning a bridge or lighting a bonfire. And obviously I do mean these things metaphorically. They're just like literally metaphoric examples. But essentially something where you're finally letting go of something, never to return, or you're finally 100% committing to something, again, never to return. Because actually I've never really seen that before, but the Lovers is actually coming out with the energy of commitment, which I suppose does make sense. So I'm really feeling as well there is something that you guys in pile 3, if you don't know what this is, I do really feel that a choice will come up to do with committing. And this commitment will be different depending on, other parts of your chart and what else is going on in your Akashic records. But there's definitely an energy of commitment. But it's a choice to commit. So in no way will this be forced on you. You won't be put in a situation where you have to, you'll be punished if you don't make a certain decision or a choice. There'll be none of that. I feel this very much as it's very much a free will choice. But I do feel like this commitment and this option, if you're not sure what it is, it comes in when you start to have some, and I am hearing the word subtle, some subtle changes about the way you perceive leaders, leadership, authority, personal power, I suppose you could also say. But it's a bit more than personal power, because it's personal power with also responsibility. It feels like it's a power that doesn't just come from within. It's something that then generates people or situations around you because you're becoming more responsible in some kind of way. That's really what I feel like this is. Yeah, I can really kind of feel that. Now also, the other thing that I'm really getting with this is, I do feel like this is a part. In fact, let me just get a couple more cards. I just want to just confirm what I'm thinking. That I'm getting the right message for you guys. Okay. So we have the Knight of Wands in reversed, and we have the Four of Pentacles upright. Okay. Yeah, I was having this feeling, and the Four of Pentacles reminds me of this, and to be honest, so does the Knight of Wands. I feel there is something, and see what comes up when I say these words so you can see how this resonates to you, but I kind of feel like there's something that you are holding on to, or you're either holding on to do with the past, because I see all of this energy of the Knight of Wands looking in the past direction, because it's in reversed. So there's a lot of energy about something that's happened in the past for pile 3, which is, it's meaning that you are holding on to something. It's like it's kind of like you're wanting to move into the future, because I see this woman looking into the future because it's upright, but she is holding on to something close around her heart and her solar plexus to do with the past, and that's because there is something unresolved from the past. But I'm also hearing, my guys are saying, to be honest, it's not unresolved. It's more that you just have to do with this whole kind of thing that we were talking about leadership, about authority, about responsibility, all of that kind of energy. There's something that's going to slightly be inhibiting you from getting this new perspective to do with leadership and authority, because of how you are holding on to something from the past. And I'm very much seeing it more as a memory. It's more like a memory that's being held on to, but it's a memory that really affected you emotionally, and it also affected how you perceived your own personal power. And it feels very much like it's a situation where you felt like your power was taken away from you. This can be a small thing to a massive thing, because it's different to all of you. If it's a small thing, it might not instantly come to you as you being really obvious about what it is. If that's the case, you just need to maybe at some point in meditation just try and drop in and imagine yourself. I think this is what you'll do to find what you're looking for. You'll imagine yourself running into the future, and imagine the future as some kind of beautiful colour that you love, but you'll notice that you can't ever quite get there. And then if you really feel into yourself, you'll feel it's because you've got an anchor in something from the past. And if you're good enough in meditation to do this, visualize yourself tracing back where that anchor first is, and that anchor will take you to a memory, and that memory will show you what it is that you're holding on to. I feel it's something to do with where you feel like you've had your power taken away from you. And that, if you go in and look at it and reclaim that energy, because there's very much a thing in shamanism called soul fragmentation, and it's where certain things can happen to us, and there'll be a psychological word for this as well, but it's where something happens to us and essentially a part of our consciousness gets locked in that time frame to do with whenever that trauma happened. And really what you'll be doing in meditation is you'll be just going back to basically retrieve that trapped energy by basically bringing your own light of consciousness, by looking at that memory now so much older and now being able to perceive it in a way. And this is the key bit. It's all about, when I see the Star and the King of Wands together, it's all about perceiving this memory in a new light, in a new way. And it's this King of Wands, I always really like him because he just looks so chill, like with his hand in his pocket. Like, I just think he's very, very confident, and I feel like he really does know who he is. And he feels very self-assured, and I do feel it's about going back to visit that memory in that same kind of confident but relaxed space. And then I don't know if you can see the salamander on his shirt there, but salamanders are really, really good at transforming and adapting and changing themselves depending on the situation. And I do really feel that you going back and viewing it in a different place, you will change how you then perceive yourself now. And really importantly, you'll change how you perceive the energetic frequencies of leadership, authority, responsibility, things like that. And also I'm hearing this, for some of you, let's say, who already are somebody that has a lot of responsibility for whatever reason. You might be in charge of a lot of people at work, you might be the owner of a company. Equally, you might be a parent, and you have the responsibility of quite a lot of different children, or you might be somebody who is looking after your parents. There could be many, and they're just a few examples of how this could be. But essentially, if you're somebody who's already feels like they're taking a lot of responsibility and leadership in your own life, my guys are just saying there's even more for you to gain. There's more momentum for you to gain to do with slightly perceiving something in your past, to do with like what we've obviously talked about. And I'm also hearing that what it will do is other areas of your life where you do not feel like a leader, or your reality does not reflect to you that you are holding a space of leadership or authority or whatever it might be. Because very often it's not like you always get souls where they are responsible or they're a leader in every kind of area of their life, because we're all working on stuff, right? So you might find there's an area of your life where you're not holding on to that, and that's the place for you to look into. And that's the place for you to kind of retrieve more insight and more I'm hearing more wisdom. And again, I do get this feeling, particularly with this here, with the Five of Pentacles. I do really feel like this is about you. It's leaving something behind. It really is leaving something behind, because I can see that it's kind of creating almost a bit of a dragging back leg. And the way that I can best describe this to you guys, Aries, is I do feel like you as an energy, you will take risks, you will go into the unknown, and you will do it with gusto. But there's an area of your life where, although you go into the unknown, although you take these risks, that it doesn't quite manifest in the way that you want, because it's almost like you've got a dragging back leg when you take those risks. Because although you try to apply your Aries energy of gusto by really going full gung-ho into something, there is a part of your, and I'm hearing it as unconscious mind, as holding on to something, like just still sort of like, almost like you are, it's almost like you're just stuck. There's a tiny part of you that's stuck to something from the past. And so when you try and make these bold leaps into the unknown in whatever area of this life this is relevant to you guys in, because it will all be different, it pulls you back. And the vision that I can see is somebody, actually, let me just tell you this one, it's simple. Basically, I used to have pet rats when I was really young. I love them, so I love animals, they're amazing. Anyway, I had this one pet rat called Dumbo, and she was always a little bit more cautious. So sometimes she'd like try and make a bit of a jump from one thing to another, and you would just see her like trying to psych herself up. And then when she took the leap, you could just feel that she hadn't quite committed, and quite literally, her back leg would usually catch on something, which would make her fall. And I'm kind of like seeing that type of energy. So like somebody like almost going and running on the long jump, and then just before they like propel themselves, into that sand pit. There's almost like a millisecond of a slight hesitation in that action, and that millisecond of the slight hesitation in that action causes the runner, the jumper, the long jumper, to not quite be able to invest all their energy in the direction that they want, so they never quite win the medal. They're always super close, but that tiny bit of hesitation, which is such an unconscious thing, just kind of keeps them just away from what it is that they are looking for. And that really is the sort of vibe and the sort of energy that I'm feeling here. Let me just get some more cards. Let's have a look. Okay. So what else does pile number 3 need to know from the Akashic records? I'm hearing 2 of these cards. Ooh, I'm just hearing a channeled message. Ooh. Oh no, this pen's rubbish. One sec. Just gonna try and make it work. Okay, so we always go through this into the extended to see what comes out, and usually it comes out something really relevant, although you wouldn't think it. But I'm just getting this at the moment, which basically says sinner and saints both have the same message. So we'll see what that means. Well, let me just carry on. Okay, message for path 3. Message for path 3. Ooh. Okay, so we have intuition. I love these cards, they're so cool. With this picture. Then we have rabbit, sensitive soul, strengthen your boundaries and cut cords. Ooh, that makes me think this is something to do with the past, but we'll go into that in more detail in the extended. Oh, nice, I love this one. Koi carp, I think that's how you say it. Abundance, move with the flow of abundance around and through you. Such a beautiful card. So clearly, to do whatever this is from the past that we're changing, letting go of, it really is going to bring a lot of abundance into your life. But again, we'll go into that in more detail. Then we have snow, silence, under abundance, that's interesting. And then we have here, pressure, transformation. Cool, so what we'll do now is we'll go into the extended reading. In the extended, we will channel into this crystal to see what additional information that we can get. We'll then find out about what this is about cutting cords or some sort of energy or something from the past and that you're sensitive to on an unconscious level that will help you bring in more abundance. But I feel like it will do it silently, softly. But we'll go into that. And then there's something relevant here about pressure, which I feel is linked into the intuition card, and saints and sinners both have the same message. And then finally, after all of that, we're just going to pull a card from the I Ching and I'll read it out from the book, so you get your own individual I Ching message to put on top of all of this. So I hope to see you in the extended. You can also find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Abigail Grace Psychic. I post loads of things there. I also have a YouTube channel, See It Like a Psychic, that has different kinds of information about just anything really psychic related, so check that out. And my website is abigailgracepsychic.com, where you can get this extended reading, other readings and products. But as always, with all of these pick cards that I do, totally make them your own. Just go with what feels right for you, disregard what doesn't, and just really trust and tap into your own deep sense of inner knowing. I try and also obviously give you guys lots of metaphors so that you can kind of get the energy that's coming through, and therefore you can tailor it to what is going off for you. But I hope to see you guys soon, and hopefully see you on the extended. Bye.
So thank you for letting me read for you. That was totally my pleasure. If you'd like the extended reading, you just need to go over to my website on abigailgracepsychic.com. I'll leave all the links below. There's the choice for you to buy one reading, one extended reading, or multiple extended readings, and there's different packages that you can go for, so that you can get the most out of it. Just bearing in mind that 2020 was crazy and 2021 is still very much a huge tipping point, and so much new energy is coming in. But when anything begins, there are always unpredictable moments. There's different things that kind of go off. So hopefully these readings, particularly if you use them in whatever way your intuition tells you to, you'll be able to get the most out of how you can leverage whatever situation you find yourself in 2021. Also, just bearing in mind that these readings are relevant anytime in 2021, and you can come back to these readings and you might find different numbers become relevant to you. So just be as creative and intelligent as possible with all of these readings, so you can leverage any situation and you can do awesome, because I do believe we all can. Speak to you soon.